It's a pleasure to be here co-designing the session today. Under the title Sustainable Water Management for a Food Secure Future. Sounds nice. What does that actually mean? Well, I'm sure we all know the stats. Half of the world population will be suffering from water stress by 2050. That's 9.7 billion people potentially. And meanwhile, 70% of freshwater withdrawals at present go towards agriculture. So if we want to make a change, that's a good place to start. The good news is that we already have many of the solutions to help us rise to the challenge. We're very excited to present to you some of the exciting solutions today, showing the way towards a sustainable and water-efficient future to feed a growing population with as few resources as possible. Before we kick off, why AQUA4D? Why are we here? Why are we co-designing? Well, we work at the nexus of water and soil and plant. Managing soils, managing water, while saving water and regenerating lands. Through better water penetration, growers can irrigate more effectively with an average of 30% less water, while increasing crop yields in the process. But it's in our collaborations with finance initiatives, other irrigation technologies, NGOs, and measurement, which allows us to achieve even more results and roll out the technology even more quickly. Which brings on very nicely to our first guest, which is Joël Lapique from Netafim France. We recently began a partnership with Netafim, who needs no introduction. They basically they invented the concept of irrigation technology basically several decades ago. Under the motto, grow more with less, their product range continues to push the boundaries of precision irrigation. So hear more about it. Joël, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à tous. Donc aujourd'hui, je représente la société Netafim. Netafim, c'est le leader mondial de la micro-irrigation. Pour information, Netafim, c'est eux qui ont inventé le goutte à goutte il y a un peu moins de 60 ans. En tant que leader mondial, nous voulons favoriser les solutions d'irrigation intelligentes. Nous, notre priorité, c'est de permettre le succès à tous les projets d'irrigation qui valorisent au mieux les ressources disponibles. C'est-à-dire, c'est améliorer l'efficience de l'eau, des engrais, et ce, avec moins d'énergie. Netafim dans le monde, c'est plus de 5000 collaborateurs, présents dans plus de 110 pays. On réalise un chiffre d'affaires d'1 milliard de dollars. Alors, Netafim, nous fabriquons et nous commercialisons des goutteurs, des lignes de goutte à goutte, des micro-asperceurs et tout le matériel nécessaire à leur bonne utilisation. Pour vous donner un chiffre, en France, nous commercialisons plus de 60 millions de mètres de goutte à goutte par an. Nos principaux marchés sont le maraîchage, l'arboriculture, la vigne, les cultures sous serre, hors sol, les grandes cultures et le Green City. Donc, nous sommes leaders sur le marché en France grâce à une structure et des services qui n'ont aucune équivalence sur le territoire. Nous avons plus de 3000 références en stock. Nous avons un bureau d'études, un service agronomique, un centre de formation. Et nous sommes les seuls à proposer des services personnalisés pour chaque type de structure de production, petite ou grande. Nous constatons que 70% de l'eau disponible dans le monde est utilisée pour l'agriculture. Cette eau, elle permet de n'irriguer que 20% des terres cultivables. Et dans ces 20%, 77% des terres irriguées sont faites par submersion, par inondation. Donc, ce qui veut dire qu'il y a une gestion de l'eau qui est à revoir, bien sûr, là-dessus. Nous proposons aux producteurs de consommer moins. Comment? Avec moins de ruissellement, puisqu'on amène l'eau directement au cœur du système racinaire, et non pas sur toute la surface de plantation. Moins de percolation, de perte d'eau. On travaille avec des goutteurs très bas débit qui permettent de créer des bulles d'humidité avec une capillarité augmentée, puisqu'on travaille vraiment du bas débit, ça évite les phénomènes de cheminée. Et donc, on maintient l'eau au niveau du système racinaire avec des volumes d'humidité beaucoup plus important que habituellement. Moins d'évaporation avec les solutions de goutte à goutte enterrées et moins de tassement du sol avec, puisqu'on peut être en enterré là-dessus. Donc, ce qu'il faut comprendre, c'est qu'en améliorant l'efficience de l'eau, c'est permettre de mieux partager les ressources disponibles. Donc, notre structure, notre organisation aujourd'hui est composée de trois services principaux. Le service développement, qui fait la prescription de nos solutions directement sur le terrain, chez les producteurs, chez les institutionnels. Le service commercial qui gère notre réseau de distribution et de revendeurs. Et le service technique, qui est le garant de nos installations sur le terrain, ainsi que la formation de tous les utilisateurs. Nous sommes associés avec des partenaires qui nous permettent de proposer de nouveaux services pour une meilleure gestion de nos solutions. Donc on cite AQUA4D, bien sûr, qui est un partenaire important pour nous, car il permet d'apporter vraiment une plus-value agronomique sur les plantes et une efficacité augmentée de l'eau dans le sol. On travaille également avec des spécialistes de la fertilisation, avec une technique qui fonctionne très très bien, qui est très efficace, qu'on appelle la fertirrigation. Elle permet d'acheminer via le goutte à goutte enterré tous les fertilisants au cœur du système racinaire. Ça peut permettre des économies de 30% sur les intrants. Nous avons les spécialistes du climat également, qui complètent nos solutions de lutte antigel, par exemple, qui nous permettent de donner des prévisions et surtout des alertes pour déclencher les systèmes au bon moment, ni trop tôt ni trop tard. Ce que nous recherchons ici, ce sont des partenaires dont le savoir-faire serait complémentaire de notre métier, qui permettent de développer une irrigation plus efficace et plus sûre. On cherche vraiment à ce partenariat pour permettre de créer une agriculture plus résiliente face au changement climatique. Voilà, je vous remercie de votre attention.
Merci Joel. So from a very established company to a more of a newer company. The next guest, I heard a very nice phrase a few years ago from them, which is measuring is knowing. And that's precisely what they do. And they're at the forefront of Agriculture 4.0, which is addressing this. 2Grow is innovative sensors. They measure sap flow and plant stress, and they have projects in greenhouses and also some landmark projects in avocado growth in Chile. And they can hear more about it from Olivier Begrem.
Bonjour à tous. Hello everyone. My name is Olivier. I'm the business developer at 2Grow. And at 2Grow, we have a purpose to reduce the 20% of the surface area used today in the world, to reduce it. And we want to do this using sensor technology that measures the plant in real time and provides a continuous feedback to the grower. We started small in our own backyard in collaboration with the University of Ghent, where we made a lot of mistakes, a lot of challenges. We optimized further, had even more challenges, of course. And when we felt that we had a really ready product for the market, we went to our neighboring countries, which are, of course, France and the Netherlands. And throughout the years, we've developed the market further, and we can proudly say that we are over the whole world, more or less. And here we offer actually a consultancy service based on real-time plant feedback. We offer every grower a 30-day free trial of our hardware and our services, and they can see the benefits for themselves in their own crop, in their own strategy, and in their own greenhouse. And if they're satisfied, which 70% of the people that have a trial are, they can become a customer. And we have multiple models that they can choose out of, such as subscription-based or purchase. You can see in our revenue that in the second year we had a little dip, and this was because we assumed that growers would know how to work with our new technology, that they would know what's good, what's bad. Well, they didn't, and actually we didn't know all the possibilities ourselves at that time. So once we pivoted more towards being a more service-oriented company, then yeah, people have never been happier than today, which really boomed the business. Our clients are primarily greenhouse growers, including also vertical farming, and our key demographic is tomato, cucumber, bell pepper. However, nearly every crop is measurable. We also have a quite strong market position. We have a few competitors. However, the competitors that we have different market perspectives. They are more oriented toward verticulture or raw agriculture, where we are really aiming for that high-tech growing. We also have a more holistic approach instead of an individualistic approach of just measuring one part of the plant. We want to measure the plant as a whole and get a complete insight. And we further distinguish ourselves by having this targeted consultancy service that's based on the true needs and challenges of the grower. And here we offer multiple benefits. Firstly, by seeing how much water a plant actually consumes, but also when the plant actually consumes water, this opens a lot of opportunities for efficiency increases. Use those scarce resources when the plant actually needs it. Also, productivity can be increased by maintaining plant vitality, and by balancing plant stress, we can also augment the quality of the fruit, thinking about sugar levels and tomatoes. And by seeing in the measurements an issue before you can even see it on the crop itself, well, this prevents losses and gives us a better tool to anticipate losses more than before. And combining this all, we see this as an excellent learning and research tool to really see how our plants really react towards everything being done in the surroundings, in the greenhouse or in the field. And we do this all together with our dynamic people, team of 7 people, with 5 people in Belgium and 2 people in France reinforcing us. We also complemented by the University of Ghent with Dirk de Pauw that does the research and development, an administration department from Annelies, and we also have our investors and coaches that guide us throughout our amazing journey to grow. And together we are measuring more than 375 plants worldwide with quite a diverse ecosystem of users ranging from growers such as Domaine de Matin here in Geneva, but also breeders such as Rijkswaan, Reuter, if you know them. Also technology services such as AQUA4D, such as Signify. They use our system to get a better insight into their own product and how they can use their product in a more efficient way so that their customers are also more happy. This creates a very nice combined effect between us. But what do we need today? Well, we need more customers, and more than that, we need more active distributors to really spread the word and our products throughout the whole world, and so we can really deliver those insights and reach that purpose of reducing the amount of surface area needed. Of course, marketing is very, very welcome, and partnerships such as we have with AQUA4D and possibly Netafim later, we can really move forward. With that, I thank you all for your attention, and I hope I made you proud of our contributions to the sustainability goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivier. We're going right across the world for the next guest to Felipe Villarino in Chile. I hope he's going to be online waiting for us. Felipe, hi. So Felipe is the CEO of IST Group, who's building very important bridges between major players in Chile and Latin America, including the Swiss embassies in different countries, and Avocado Commission in Chile. Felipe, can you hear us?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, perfect.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Felipe Villarino, founder and CEO of IST Group. And I'm really glad to be able to share with you what we're doing in Latin America today. Our company was born in 2018 in Chile with the clear purpose of solving the problem of water scarcity and climate change. Did you know, for example, that 1 million people die each year from water, sanitation, hygiene-related diseases? Every 2 minutes, a child dies from water-related diseases. These are really very hard figures to know. So our value proposition is focused on delivering integral solutions through innovation and sustainable technology. That's with a focus on water saving, integrating IoT monitoring and a complete service to our clients. It's not just focused in Chile, but in Latin America. Our average water saving today is 25%. Since 2018, we have had sustained growth with an average of 200% per year, achieving a market fit and a validation of the business model in 2020, which today allows us to have a scalable business model throughout the Latin American region. So we are present in different industries that I will tell you in the next slide. Our business model is focused on 4 main industries and with 3 lines of income. We have direct sales of technology today, long-term leasing of technology, and permanent consulting services. So by 2025, we project sales close to $13 million. This is with our aggressive expansion plan in Latin America. Our business, for this, we have today worked a lot in our positioning, and we are differentiated ourselves in the market for being a HaaS and SaaS company with a real integral and collaborative business model. So today we work with different identities that help us to give this workflow to give some services with integration of technology and different partners around the world. This model has led us to have a high impact on our clients at an operational, financial, and sustainable level. In the year 2021, we were awarded in Chile by the recognized Energy Global Award for achieving a high impact on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So we're really happy of the impact that we are really giving through our customers today. For us, it's essential to have a really strong and professional team. That's why today we have presence with local offices in Chile and Peru, with a team that consists of 7 professional and specialized technicians to ensure the quality of our services. That's one of the big differentiations that we have today. So as I was telling you before, for us it's really essential to work in collaboration with different identities, both public and private, as well as with research centers and universities. This has allowed us to position ourselves in a strategic way to face the challenges of each industry we are present today. And so what are we looking for today? This is the opportunity that we want to share with you, is to be able to join this purpose of assuring water access to humanity. For this, we're currently in an aggressive expansion plan for Latin America, and we're looking for a strategic investment of $2 million for a 20% equity stake. We will be really happy to answer all your questions, deepen the impact we're generating with EST Group here in Chile and Latin America. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope the next time I can be there with you.
Thank you, Felipe. Please stay online for the panel discussion later. So from Chile, right back here to Switzerland. Here in the Chateau de l'Eau, we don't hear so much about water stress, but it's surprising for many to hear that actually we are suffering from the effects of climate change also here. Our next guest is Eric Girardin from Hydrolina, and he's going to tell us about how reduced snow melt and glacier melt is leading towards various innovation. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Eric Girardin, CEO and co-founder of the company Hydrolina. Hydrolina is an irrigation decision aiding app to help farmers and, of course, water resources manager to interpret soil moisture first, root activity and daily water use for any soil and any farming conditions, and this to master water and master water and quarantine harvest. We want to bring back to the farmers the pleasure of producing. Hydrolina we found in 2011. In three years later, we used for the first time our skills in hydrogeology for an irrigation project, and we were very proud to receive in 2018 an Swiss project for the plain areas, focused on the vegetable farming, vegetable crops. And in 2021, we were a winner with our 3 partners of the Blue Arc Challenge with a project Odile. In a standard season, we bring an added value of 2,000 to 4,000 francs per hectares. And this in form of interpretation of physical phenomenon, forecast water stress, save time, save energy, bring the right quantity of irrigation water at the right time at the right place. But in drought periods, what's happened? We bring much more. We can bring much more benefits. By knowing soil saturation state, crop water needs, you can imagine the additional benefits that can be brought to farmer, for example, for crops with a gross margin of 40,000 francs per hectare, like vegetable, for example. We are active in the digital farming, strong focus on irrigation and water management, active in Switzerland, principally in the plain. Since this year, we're also active in mountains area. Farmers and municipalities want to have all the data to decide, to take decision, but they want to decide by themselves, especially farmers. Imagine you can measure everything you want, but without interpretation, you have no performance. For some years, some competitors came on the market with measurement devices, but Hydrolina believed that with our interpretation, interpret all the key data, crop data, soil data, weather data at the same time, to bring performance. And we believe that we can bring to the agriculture a new ecologically intensive agriculture. We have positive impacts, first on food security, of course, but also on saving water, not only in the plain, but also in the mountains where the water is also useful to produce energy. And third, on adaptation to local conditions in this climate change times. We have a small team, everything, every skills we need, machine learning and data scientist, soil physicist, agronomist. I play the role of hydrogeologist and farmer agronomist. We operate by signing contract with the needed specialists we need, depending on the project, and work daily with universities and technologies and our 3 partners of the project Odile, the Garden Floor, the GmbH, and OBWAS. Our key customers are vegetable farmers, fruit producer, and also municipalities and irrigation association. We're looking for a bankable project at any water catchment, any scale, for any crops and any soil conditions. Thanks a lot for your attention. I look forward to meet you by AQUA4D in Marketplace. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Eric. So yeah, it's clear that the new dawn of Ag 4.0, measuring and data is absolutely key, whether that's Agrolina, whether that's To-Grow plant sensors, or in the case of the next guest, right back to the American continent, which is AquaSpy. And Kathleen Glass. Kathleen is online, right on time. And I've had the pleasure of seeing AquaSpy soil probes in action It's incredible how you can monitor the moisture of the soil to then make adjustments to irrigation cycles, save resources and save water. I'm curious to hear more about it from Kathleen. Kathleen, the floor is yours.
Merci and hello. Conventional ways of measuring soil moisture in agriculture are dated and inaccurate, making crop yield management essentially a guessing game that needlessly wastes nutrients and precious water resources, ultimately leading to toxic runoff and poor soil health. AQUA4D has turned this challenge on its head, looking at this from a vertical perspective underground to understand what the crop is doing. We're bringing actionable insights for water sustainability in farming by combining data gathered layer by layer beneath the ground with data intelligence that makes farming less labor intensive and more profitable for every viable acre. Once an intelligent probe is inserted into the ground permanently and the crop type is selected, multiple sensors located every 4 inches, layer by layer in the soil, gather data and send that to the cloud every day throughout the day. Our algorithm analyzes the data and presents it in an easy to read chart format. In the summary chart on the right, the farmer can see how well they are balancing supply of the water and demand from the crop to be able to consume that. The proprietary YES score in the upper right hand of the field gauge is essentially a numerical representation of how well the farmer is staying within that green band that's tailored to a specific crop type. This allows them to focus on important times like tasseling or fruiting. AQUA4D has been in the market in the US for about 10 years. We have 850,000 acres managed across 16 different countries. We currently work with approximately 120 dealers. Our business model is a software as a service model where we basically provide the hardware for free, just like in the cellular phone market. We go to market primarily through the channel, through partners, dealers, and distributors. What's unique about our market position, basically different from traditional soil moisture technology, are 4 different things. One is that we use this vertical approach, layer by layer, to measure soil moisture. So we go deep within the soil. Second is that we look at how well the crop is consuming that. So it's not just about whether the soil is wet or dry as far as whether to turn on the irrigation. It's, is the crop actually consuming that water and nutrients? Is it ready for it at those important times? We're soil agnostic, which means that no matter what, you don't have to tune this crop, you don't have to tune the probe specifically for the soil. It works whether there's various soil types within a field or across your various fields. Last is that the probe is installed in the ground permanently, or at least throughout the season, so the farmer doesn't have to go out and do continuous monitoring. So a lot of the decisions can now be made remotely. There's significant impact in this. What's important to a farmer? That's yield. It's yield, but also by not wasting extra nutrients. So we have a demonstrable 25% increase in yields and quality of the crop. Also the ability to make predictable decisions to be able to go to market with a confidence. We do this by gathering over 19.2 billion data points currently. What'll happen and why this is important is that farmers tend to be risk averse. So they'll tend to want to over apply water and nutrients just a little bit to be able to have the confidence that they're going to get their yield. However, this might provide a larger yield, but it's very expensive and it unnecessarily uses restricted and precious resources such as water. AQUA4D is based in San Diego, California, USA, with sales offices throughout the region, locally throughout the US. We have about 30 employees today. Our team consists of experienced leaders in Internet of Things technology, as well as experts in data science, agriculture, and farming. We work within a partner network, as I mentioned earlier. We work with large and small distributors and consultants, precision agriculture services, equipment dealers, compatible smart farm technology providers such as AQUA4D, food and beverage brands, co-ops, and farm input retailers. Today, we are seeking partners in these categories in Europe. Thank you for your time. If you're interested in joining our partner network, please reach out.
Thank you, Kathleen. Can you stay online for the short panel discussion? Can you maybe shift along and go for that discussion? So, my microphone. Oi. Hello. Hello.
The second one also for most.
Hello. Hello. Good.
Hello.
So, all these innovations sound exciting. The ones we heard about this morning, this afternoon. It's, as we know, it's all not possible without financing, without money. We do have Mathieu Terrien from UBS here, UBS Leasing Department. UBS, as we know, is a forerunner in sustainable financing. And Mathieu, what kind of tools and instruments do you have at your disposal to promote these kind of innovations?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, as we know, to switching to a cleaner energy management or water management can be a real challenge for companies, small company or bigger company. This is the amount to cash out, the cost of a better energy treatment or a water object like AQUA4D provide. It can be a real break to switch to a sustainable transition. It's why UBS, in partnership with AQUA4D, for example, can propose now some leasing solution for this company, for Switzerland company. Leasing solution, why it can be a solution for for the company for the sustainable transition. It's instead of purchase price of 100,000, for example, you can smooth this amount in a monthly cost. For example, for a 100,000 AQUA4D system, it will cost to the company only 1,800 by month. It can really make the difference for this company to be greener at the end. This is one of the solutions. For the water management, we have begun with AQUA4D client, but we are in place in the Swiss market since many years now for solar panel, for all the electrical installation, and all the sustainable objects that you can imagine. The only thing is, for the moment, we work for Swiss company in the Swiss market and not in the international way.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll go to Chile, actually, following on from that. There was a mention in your slides of leasing somewhere. Do you have something like Mathieu just described? How does it look for you in Chile? Do you have experience with these things? Do you have good test cases, best practices?
Yeah, well, here in Chile and Latin America, like the impact investing has become really stronger and more relevant every day. So therefore, I will say that about like 4 years ago, companies focused on sustainable development have managed to open the way to new financial instruments with financial institutions that have decided to promote sustainable investment with impact on the environment. This is why today a new path is opening up for economic growth in companies with this purpose associated with the SDGs of the United Nations. And this has allowed us to adjust our business model. For example, to sell projects with financial facility to our customers and providing a leasing model, which also makes our future financial projection much more attractive, right? Because we have less problems to negotiate with our customers. So we can give this $1,800 per month, for example. There is still a long way to go in incentives that banks has and financial institutions must adjust, but we are on a good path in the region, I think.
Good stuff. Thanks, Felipe. Joël, what about France? What about your experience? What about Netafim? Do you have these kind of things at your disposal? Is it something that's is interesting?
Yes. Aujourd'hui, on est de plus en plus sollicité par des groupes de plus en plus importants qui recherchent des solutions full package. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, nous sommes experts dans l'irrigation, mais on cherche effectivement des solutions de financement. On a des personnes qui sont dédiées à la recherche de subventions et d'aides qui peuvent venir de l'Europe, des régions. On essaie d'élargir nos services et nos compétences avec des gens qui font de la finance, qui peuvent financer les projets. On est de plus en plus sollicité pour des projets clés en main où on a besoin où on recherche un seul interlocuteur côté production. Donc, on est en contact avec des banques, on est en contact avec des assurances, et ça devient de plus en plus récurrent. Et on a besoin de ces services-là pour mener à bien certains projets. Effectivement, de trouver la finance de ces projets-là, c'est vital pour le succès de ce projet aujourd'hui.
Merci, Joël. Kathleen, I guess I'll come to you for the last question on this topic. Is this an experience, in your experience in the US, for example, or across the world with AquaSpy? Did these kind of tools and instruments enable sustainable transition in smaller holders, for example, or how is this taking effect in the US?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that we've learned over the years in the market is that financing is a really big challenge for agriculture. So, the smallholders, any size farm, really, it's a challenge to be able to pay a large amount of money up front. So we have shifted. And so I mentioned in my presentation that we have this pay-as-you-grow model. And that's a monthly subscription service, just like a cell phone. So there's no money up front. The farmer pays a very small, maybe $29.95 a month subscription for multiple years, but that takes the financial burden off of them. That makes it a lot easier to adapt and adopt to new technologies, because that has been one of the biggest challenges for this particular industry, is that the margin that they operate on is so thin that there's got to be an easy way, like through financing or a small monthly subscription model, for them to be able to adopt this comfortably.
Thank you, Kathleen. I guess I've turned to Eric or to Olivier for a different topic. We talk a lot about measurement, about Ag 4.0. What difference does that make to a sustainable water management for the future, for example? Why is it so important to measure in so many different ways?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, actually, it was funny because we had a conversation this afternoon with one of your colleagues, and where we saw that we had a customer in Canada that was giving too much water. But just like this morning, it was also said, people don't like change. So really having that thought of reducing your irrigation, just like that, it's very, people are afraid of that. And it makes sense because it's about so much money. So in that way, you need data. You need data to prove yourself why you are making certain decisions. And I had one liner that I forgot to say, but I love to say that we need to stop assuming and start measuring, because that's what growers do. They take decisions based on what they have always done. And definitely the older generation is really good at that. But it's like this data and these measurements that make it so hard and concrete for them, and makes it so much easier to make a decision.
Thanks. Eric, what about you? What about your perspective on that? Why should we measure so much?
Well, we measure something we don't have to believe that measure to produce is something good. A measure to bring benefits to farming, to the society is something good. But something we don't have to forget is that the farmer is someone who brings health to the society, bring food to the society. He's the manager of the soil, and in the soil, the soil determines the quality and the quantity of what we drink and what we eat. Of course, nothing is perfect, and the agriculture, of course, not. They have to be rebuilt, but we need to give back to the farmers the pleasure of producing. Produce for a farmer is in his ADN. He has to be a producer, and for us, we believe that we will need a new ecological intensive agriculture, because farmer and of course society is exposed to many risks. Of course, climate change risk, but also weather risk. If you have less yield 1 year, you have a problem. What's happened if you have at the same time a bad year and geopolitical risk? What's happened for the society? We need our farming, and they have the biggest problem is it's for farmer it's the same as water. Water is a product that the price don't change when it came scarce. For farmer, he has a purchase power very, very small, and if we want healthy product, good products, good water, we need to find a solution for the farming.
Thanks, Eric. I guess zooming out a bit, we've seen all the growth curves of all of your companies. They all look very nice, and a lot of growth curves today. We've also seen population growth curves, and we know that, as I mentioned at the beginning, by 2050 there might be 9.7 billion people affected by water stress. So how optimistic are we of reaching a sustainable water management future, a food secure future? How optimistic are we that we can match the growth curves of the companies in innovation and financing with the growth curves of increasing water stress and increasing population? Open question. Shall I bring in maybe Felipe or Kathleen again? What do you think?
Well, I think why you stunned everybody into silence is that it's scary, right? This is a big challenge. This is a really, really big challenge, and it's a big ship to turn. And especially here, I'm in California, and they're cutting the water off to the farms. It's interesting. It's really not even a matter of can you afford it? Because yes, it becomes more expensive to drill the wells. It becomes expensive to put in pivots. In a lot of the U.S., we're dryland farm, but now we're converting to irrigation. So we're actually using more water at a time where we really need to be using less. So the more innovative all of us can be, but it's an education. And as Olivia, earlier, he said the same thing, that the farmers tend to be risk averse, a little bit different wording, because they're confident that if they pour the water and the nutrients on there, that they'll get their yield. So it's a big shift to go from looking at the plants to monitoring the leaves, or from sticking your finger in the soil or digging up a little bit of soil and seeing if it's wet or not. It's a big shift. So one of the great things is that we're all coming together like we are today, because that's what's going to make it work, is that if we collaborate, we educate, we innovate, and we test. So great job today, and good for AQUA4D, because this is what's going to make that big shift.
Thanks, Kathleen, for the positivity. Good vibes. Felipe, Chile is a very similar region to California in many ways. Do you share the sense of optimism?
Sure. I don't know if everyone knows there, but in Chile, we're living the worst stress scarcity of water in the last, I don't know, 50 years. It's really hard here, and the agriculture is really affected about that. So, as Catalina said, it's really important to have a collaborated way to confront this challenge. Here's a number of people that have not access to safe water. That's a big, really big risk. Even though we are in COVID, we're still in COVID, and there is a lot of people that don't have access for water. So they can have this hygiene main safe ways to keep going. So we have a big challenge here. It's not just one country, it's the whole world. That's why I think this kind of events are really, really great. We have to get conscious, the people, the producers, the private companies, the public sector. This is our work that we all have to go together.
Thanks, Felipe. Does anybody want a final comment on this aspect from here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because we are in high tech, we also see a bit of developments there. And although we have still massive challenges yet to come, we definitely see a lot of evolvements and autonomous growing, vertical farming. It's really here. It's across the corner. And once you delve into the matters, you can see that we are actually quite far already. I wasn't really updated before, but once you see how many people are actively developing the market and helping having a more sustainable world in their mind, I'm certain that we can do this.
That's a good note to end on, I think, a note of optimism, positivity. Thanks for your time today, everybody. Thanks for your time in California and Chile, and thanks for your attention.